Hyde to stand. May I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Please state your name, spelling your last for the record.
Hi there, my name is Corey Hyde. Hyde is spelled H-Y-D.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, I graduated from Miami University in Oxford, Ohio with a degree in philosophy, but I quickly realized there aren't too many jobs for philosophy majors, so now I work as an executive assistant.
Where do you work?
Oh, I work at the Black Bear Casino, and I'm the executive assistant to my boss and the owner, Miss Avery Bancroft.
And what do you do as Miss Bancroft's assistant?
Well, what don't I do? I schedule her meetings, I organize her office, I work on her daily schedule. Basically, whatever needs to be done, I'm her go-to person.
Do you know Chase Covington?
Oh, of course. I'd seen Chase either around in the casino in the VIP lounge or for any meetings I'd scheduled between Mr. Covington and Miss Bancroft to discuss her business proposal for the new casino license.
Was it unusual for Avery Bancroft and Chase Covington to meet for business meetings?
No, absolutely not.
Does any meeting stick out in your mind?
Well, specifically, one of the meetings I organized was for April 13th. The meeting was scheduled for 3 o'clock, and so at 2:45, I told Miss Bancroft that it was time to head over to the meeting to start right on time.
And where did that meeting take place?
Oh, that was in Suite 312 in the Casino Hotel.
Who was a part of that meeting?
Well, there was myself, Miss Avery Bancroft, Mr. Covington, as well as Mickey Keenan.
And how did that meeting begin?
Well, everything started out real good and fine. We were talking about the proposal and what Miss Bancroft was going to bring into the new casino, but then took a slight turn when Miss Bancroft began discussing money.
And what did Miss Bancroft say?
Well, Mr. Covington just said that he was going to need a good reason to vote for Miss Bancroft's proposal. And that's when she said, well, how about 100,000 reasons?
And how did Chase respond to that?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for hearsay.
Your Honor, this question is not going to elicit any statement, simply Chase's physical reaction to that comment.
His what reaction?
His physical reaction, how he reacted physically to Miss Bancroft's statement, how about 100,000 reasons?
So you're asking her what she saw and not what he said?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I want to ask that question.
What did you see Chase react like when he heard that statement?
Oh, Mr. Covington looked very surprised and taken aback, and he began shaking his head very vigorously.
Did anything happen after that in the meeting?
Well, I'd say about 10 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. It was one of the bellhops, Devin Del Sesto. However, Mr. Covington looked quite annoyed for having the meeting disrupted, and so he immediately ended the meeting and left for the day.
Were there any other meetings that you scheduled between Avery Bancroft and Chase Covington?
Yes, in fact, the next meeting that I'd scheduled was on April 16th. However, Mr. Covington never showed up to that meeting.
Did anything noteworthy happen before that meeting?
Well, yes, the meeting was scheduled for noon, and so at 11:45, I went into Miss Bancroft's office to let her know it was time to head over to the meeting. And that's when I saw what had to be at least $200,000 being put into a briefcase by Miss Bancroft.
What did Miss Bancroft do with that briefcase?
Well, she was bringing it with her to this meeting where we were supposed to meet Mr. Covington.
Did you ever see Miss Bancroft give that briefcase to Chase Covington?
No, like I said, Mr. Covington never showed up to this meeting, and I don't know what happened or where he went, but I never saw him again.
Did Miss Bancroft ever discuss bribing Chase Covington with you?
No, absolutely not. And I thought I was so close to Miss Bancroft, but she never said anything.
Miss Hyde, did you ever see Avery Bancroft and Chase Covington exchange money?
No, nothing like that, ever.
Did you ever see them exchange briefcases?
No, never.
No further questions.
Ms. Gerber, cross?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed?
Yes, ma'am?
Good morning, Ms. Hyde.
Good morning.
On that April 13th meeting that you just told us about, there were increased security measures taken for that meeting.
Yes, there was.
The head of security was standing outside the front door.
That's correct.
Before anybody walked in, they had to be patted down.
That's right.
All of their cell phones were confiscated.
That's right.
This was pretty unusual at the Black Bear.
We normally have security for various meetings depending on what's going on, but for this meeting, it was a little surprising to me, yes.
You had never had the head of security standing guard at the front of the door.
Not for one of my meetings, no.
You had never seen the head of security confiscate everyone's cell phones.
For my meetings, again, no, I have not.
And for none of the meetings between Avery Bancroft and Chase Covington.
No, this was the first meeting.
You told us that at this meeting, Chase Covington said, I have another good proposal sitting on my desk.
That's right.
And Chase Covington said, I'm going to need good reasons to vote for your proposal.
Yes, you did.
And Chase Covington said that to Avery Bancroft.
That's right.
And Ms. Hyde, what you didn't tell us on direct examination was that you went to the bathroom during this meeting.
Yes, I did.
So after this exchange, you left the room.
Yeah, just for a couple of minutes.
So you don't know whether or not Avery Bancroft offered Chase Covington money.
No, I guess I don't.
You don't know whether or not the defendant accepted an offer from Avery Bancroft.
No, I don't.
You mentioned that later, 10 minutes later, when you came back into the room, the bellhop was there.
Well, I came back into the room and then the bellhop knocked on the door.
You said that that's when the meeting ended.
That's right. Mr. Covington looked annoyed for having the meeting disturbed, and so Mr. Covington ended the meeting and went home for the day.
Well, before Mr. Covington went home, you saw Mr. Covington pick up his briefcase.
That's right.
And you heard Avery Bancroft say, do you want another one of those?
That's right. It was said in passing. The briefcase was old and dingy looking.
You saw Commissioner Covington pick up that briefcase and show it to Avery Bancroft.
He did.
Avery Bancroft nodded yes.
Like I said, it was old and dingy. He was showing Miss Bancroft in what bad condition it was.
Ms. Hyde, you saw Avery Bancroft nod yes.
Yeah, she said yes, it's in bad condition.
Well, later that evening, your boss, Ms. Bancroft, asked you where she could buy a briefcase like Commissioner Covington's.
That's right.
And you suggested TobySupplies.com, right?
That's right. It's this great website where you can get everything from things in science to scuba diving gear, and so I said Toby Supplies because that's where she could get a new briefcase.
You noticed that 2 days later, Ms. Bancroft had a new black briefcase.
Yes, she did.
Would you recognize that black briefcase?
Yes, I would.
Your Honor, I'm approaching the witness with State's Exhibit 3. Ms. Hyde, this black briefcase looks like the briefcase you saw Avery Bancroft with.
I can't see for sure if it is the almost exact same briefcase, but it does look fairly similar, yes.
Well, the next day, as you mentioned, you saw Avery Bancroft stuffing a black briefcase with cash.
I did. It was so surprising to me. I had no idea what she was doing or what she was going to do with it.
It looked like she was putting $200,000 into the black briefcase.
Yeah,
And you asked her why she was doing that.
I did. I had no idea.
And Avery Bancroft said, there's no turning back now. Let's go.
Objection to hearsay, Your Honor. That's the statements of Avery Bancroft.
Your Honor, pursuant to Rule 801D2E, this is an admission by the co-conspirator in furtherance of the conspiracy.
All right. Have you heard, Your Honor? They have not laid proper foundation as to a conspiracy up to this point, and because of that, does not fall under that exception.
Isn't there a certain circularity here? That is, you're using the statement to prove the conspiracy and using the conspiracy to prove the admissibility, to establish the admissibility of the statement?
Your Honor, this statement is only one piece of evidence that establishes the conspiracy, and as per your previous ruling, according to State v. Owens, each of these pieces of evidence combined together are allowed to show this conspiracy. And Your Honor can make that decision at the end of the entire trial.
That's fine, Your Honor.
You're going to elicit additional evidence of the conspiracy through this witness or other witnesses?
By the end of the trial, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, with that proffer, I'll defer ruling until the end of the trial, at which point, if you think you need to renew the motion, to essentially make a motion to strike this testimony and the other testimony that's like that, I'll hear that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hyde, when you asked Avery Bancroft why she was stuffing the briefcase with $200,000, Ms. Bancroft said, there's no turning back now. Let's go.
She did. I had no idea what she meant by that.
The two of you did leave her office
Yes, we did.
with the black briefcase filled with $200,000.
Yes, we did.
You went to a meeting that you were supposed to have with Commissioner Covington.
That's right. That was a meeting Mr. Covington never showed up at.
And so, when you realized that Commissioner Covington wasn't going to show up, you left the meeting.
Yes, I did.
Before you left the meeting, Ms. Bancroft didn't give you the briefcase.
No, she kept it with her.
When you left the meeting, Ms. Bancroft still had the black briefcase filled with cash, right?
She did.
You don't know if Ms. Bancroft gave that briefcase to Commissioner Covington.
No, I have no idea. Like I said, I didn't see Mr. Covington on the 16th and never saw him before the vote took place on the 17th either.
You weren't at the Black Bear for the rest of the day.
That's right.
And the next day, on April 17th, Commissioner Covington voted for Avery Bancroft's casino proposal.
That's right. I'd like to think that all the hard work that me and Ms. Bancroft had put into the proposal was good enough for her to receive the new casino license.
Thank you, Ms. Hyde. Your Honor, I have no further questions. I'm approaching the witness to retrieve evidence.
Anything further, my reader?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. May I proceed?
Yes, sir?
On cross, you just mentioned that you left that April 13th meeting briefly to go to the bathroom.
Yes, I did.
Was there any indication that money had been exchanged while you left?
No,
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
May I respond, Your Honor?
Well, he asked if there was any indication, so the question is, what did she see or hear?
Yes, Your Honor, may I be heard? He asked if there was any indication that money had been exchanged while she left. If she wasn't in the room, she can't testify as to whether or not money had been exchanged while she left. She wouldn't know that.
It depends on what indicia she saw, if any, when she got back, so I'll allow the question.
Was there any indication that money had been exchanged while you left?
Well, no, all Ms. Bancroft brought with her to the meeting was her business proposal, and so I don't see how she would come up with money when she hadn't left the room and all she brought with her was the business proposal.
Now on cross, you also mentioned that you saw Miss Bancroft putting money into a briefcase. Was this uncommon for her?
No, Ms. Bancroft often transported money in briefcases. She was a very busy woman and often went places and required a briefcase to carry things around.
Did she use briefcases to conduct her business activities?
Oh, all the time.
Did she exchange money in briefcases?
No, she did not.
No further questions.
Anything on recross?
No recross, Your Honor.
You with Mr.